right, Grown Black Folk Talk. Again, Black History Maker series. You're going to be using social media? Be paid to be free. Okay, so those of you who know me on Facebook know I haven't been around here very much. Those of you who know me on YouTube didn't know that. But if you pay attention to YouTube, if you were to kind of follow me around, if I'm not creating and watching some very limited content creators, because yesterday I taught you that if somebody vexes my spirit, I block them from where I see them and I block them on my channel. So they're not going to be talking smack on my page. Of course, that's one half of it. But then the other thing about it is stop spending time. Go. There is a content creator who always says, go where you're celebrated. So I discovered a social media platform. It's a little bit different. It's called Peak D is the front end, but it's Hive Blockchain. And it was my gateway into the crypto world because the money that you earn on the platform can be traded for Bitcoin. Perhaps you've heard of Bitcoin, most important cryptocurrency. You know, that little cryptocurrency that went from 9,000 to $69,000 this year. Yeah, that one. Most people are not going to be in a position of buying a whole Bitcoin, but you can if you have writing skill, if you have speaking skill, if you have music skill, if you have visual art skill, and you can show what's called proof of brain, proof of artistic activity, and you can do this consistently, you can be paid to be on social media, and that pay trades out to both USD, United States dollars that spend everywhere in the United States, and a lot of places beyond, and Bitcoin, which does the same. But the main thing I want you to understand, because like every other asset in the United States, cryptocurrencies are a kind of asset. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. It is not the right time in the cycle to be thinking that you're going to get rich doing this. What I want you to understand is you're not being paid to be annoyed on Facebook and YouTube. And you're being attacked by hordes of trolls who do not want your Black self to have a life and to do well and to say what you need to say. The point of you coming to Hive, and my preferred front end is Peak D, and I'll show you why in a minute, is that you can do pretty much what you want to do and make a few coins from doing it. And the army of trolls is not going to go through the entrance curve to get on there. Now, later on, we're going to talk about why you need to get behind a paywall once you get very good at what you're doing. But this is a level 1 paywall because it's an investment of time and energy to be able to do things on the Hive blockchain that most trolls, not all, but the vast majority of the trolls in the world will find an easier place to go play. Once they have to start actually paying for stuff, in an environment where they're outnumbered by people who will downvote and mute them into the ground quick because nobody wants the gravy train messed up, they go find another victim. So let's have a look at this. Hive has a couple of what you call front ends ways you can access and do things on the blockchain. I use Peak D for reasons that I'll show you. Okay, so where do I spend a lot of my time? Although it's not a whole lot. I do my writing and I get gone. And I'll show you how I'm able to do a great deal of writing in a rather short period of time and get out and get to other things. This is the front page of my Peak D. Let me move myself up here as much as possible so you can see the main site here is peakd.com. There it is. We'll load it up again. It's going to go back to my page, but it's peakd.com and it goes to my direct feed. So this is my direct page. So I want you to have a look at something. Notice something you have never seen on a Facebook page in your entire life. This is my friend Just Cooking Diva, wonderful, wonderful African-American woman whose family is from Louisiana. And she is out here doing beautiful, beautiful visual art. See that? 34 cents in 7 minutes. Now I'm going to tell you about those numbers. So I'm going to give her a little vote. And my vote, because I've been around here for a while, is worth 6 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you get a bunch of them together, we actually are able to make each other some money. He's been here an hour. Now, just like my regular social media, I have disciplined my page so that I am not following foolishness. Most of the people that I follow at this point, they know what they're doing. There are a lot of visual artists because I'm in the same area of visual art that she's in. So is he. I like what he had to say. Now, every time you do a vote, remember that your vote power is going down, and so is the amount of money that you can give, that you can vote for the system to pay other people. But the point is, we are able to ask the Hive blockchain to give our fellow creators Hive. Now, on Facebook, can you do that? Hey, Mark, can you cut a check to Miss Deanne? Because I really appreciate her comment. On YouTube, can you do that? Yeah, if the person is at a point they can get super chats, yeah, you can. Here, you ain't gotta have any of that. You get set up, you're able. That takes a long time till you have a vote you can give someone else, but anybody can come in and put a vote on yours. They see your comment and they love it. So now about these numbers. This is going to become important later. Divide by 4. 50% of any vote that's here is redistributed to the people that do the voting. That's called a curation reward. When I voted on her comment, that entitles me to a quarter of this, to a portion of half of this, depending on how many votes she makes. So here is, when you look at the number, you can actually see. All right. And then she's actually got 5 going to support the platform. So 47.5 of this is going to end up going as a curation reward. For all intents and purposes, it'll be half of what's left. 50% is left, and then 25% is going to stay so that you have what's called resource credits that are determined by how much Hive you leave staked up, earning interest on the platform. And that's going to take out another 25%. So in the end, if she stopped here, then she will receive a quarter of that. And she's been here 7 minutes and she's earned 8 cents and a little bit over. That's what's going on. Take any number here and divide it by 4. So is this going to pay your bills entirely? No, depending on where you live. But you can see some of these numbers divided by 4 get pretty big. They get a little bit bigger. So let's say that you did 3 or 4 of those per day. Okay, now you're able to sit around over the course of time and make yourself some lunch money. But the point I want to say to you is, if you're being trolled to death on YouTube and Facebook and not being paid to do it, what could you could come to a pretty much a troll-free environment and get a few coins? Web 2.0, where unproductive people are trying to hound you out of business because they don't know how to make it productive, or Web 3.0, where the cost of entry is too complicated and people are not going to follow you over here. Okay. Well, okay, Deanne, I see what people are doing. What are you doing? What's in your wallet? Okay. All right. This is a website called Hive Now, and of course it's set up for me since I'm already here. These are the people who voted on my stuff, which is not going to make any sense to you right now, okay? If you want to see what the price of Hive is right now, there it is. It's worth almost $1, but this number goes up and down and left and right. See that? It's been up and down quite a bit. So it's up, it's down. It's like watching the stock market, only it moves a heck of a lot faster. So this is why I don't want you to necessarily set your heart on how much money you can make, because there is absolutely no guarantee that you can make. Now, you can cash out, but that's a whole different conversation. What I want you to think about is, do you want to be in a troll-free environment behind it, pretty much troll-free environment behind a paywall where you get a little bit to say what you want to say and do what you want to do? Or would you prefer to stay where you are and be trolled out of existence? I'm just saying, at a certain point, you can move on up. Now, we'll get past all this. That's my curation rewards. You don't need to know about any of that. That's how much I've been paid for recent articles. HBD, which is the other thing that you get paid for, is worth $1. So that is $6.39 there for that particular free write that I did, little fictional story. Now, what's in my wallet? Approximately. Okay, so here is what's in my wallet in terms of rewards that have been paid out. Like I said, divide this number by 4. So it's a little under $60 over the next, and if you look back, it'll be over the next 7 days. Okay, about $59. And if you take it to 60 and you maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, that will tell you how much that I get per month to be here and write what I want to write and talk about what I want to talk about. So if I want to do a story about a Black family, if I want to do a story about a Black billionaire and his grandson and write about it the way I want to write about it, and there's a little grandson jumping rope, and this is a story about him and his grandfather, and he's a billionaire and they're doing what they want to do in their family, and I want to talk about their family legacy, I can do that and be paid to do it here. Now that's actually Hive Blog. Let me go back to Peak D here. There's several Hive front ends. My preference is Peak D. So we're going to go back over there. Now, if I want to write a story about a Black family and be paid to do it and have conversations with a lot of people about what I'm writing about and why, and teach people Black history and teach people about the different history of different Black families and how they relate to this one, I can do this. And there's no trolling over here. That's a new one. There's a little bit of trolling over here. I was wrong. But see how it says muted? You get tired of anybody, you go to their page, interactions, I'm not following him, but I've already muted him, unroot, mute. So I don't have to be bothered with him. I went over there just to show you. You just hit interactions and you hit mute, and that's it. You don't ever see them. And what happens is whole communities of people here mute them so that they're not seen. It's really that simple. So I get paid to write what I want to write about. Now, I sometimes make more than 181. That's a low posting, but some of these numbers are bigger than that. And when Hive was worth more like $3.50, some of these numbers were really big. But again, divide everything by 4. Okay, but what's in your wallet? All right, I'll show you part of that. I'll make sure that you understand that this is real without giving too much information. Let's show you something. Okay. So here we go. Here's what's in my wallet. You see what the price of Hive is right now over here, the price of HBD, which is another thing. And here's what's in my wallet at the moment. Now, there's more than this, but you don't need to know all that. If you can do your mathematics, you can figure it out. I've given you enough information to figure it out. You run back to video and do the math. It's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot. But it's a whole lot more than I made on Facebook. It's a whole lot more than I made on YouTube. I'm not monetized yet. And it lets me write about what I want to write about. It lets me write about Black people the way I want to write about Black people. It lets me write about white people the way I want to write about white people. It lets me write about anybody the way I want to write about them. And I get paid a little bit to do it. And I don't have to deal with the trolling. Now, don't get me wrong. There are racists on Hive. And if you choose to go on a PD, there's some things that you need to know about. Don't get crazy. I always tell people heal before you do anything, because when you go behind a paywall, there are certain things there. Any of you that might want to get interested in that, get in touch with me and I'll give you a little bit more of a guide. But you got to be careful. You can't just throw up things on the page like you can on somewhere where you're not being paid to be there. You have to be careful to avoid plagiarism. Don't just copy and paste something. You have to be careful about the images you're using if they are not your own. There are some sources that you can use that are copyright free, but you have to be really careful because you will be downvoted and muted into the ground. And there are a few races on there that do not want to see people like us do well. And they're big fish in a small pond because they don't have enough money to really do things in the world. So they live out there, the rich person, Karen and Kyle fantasies. But if you start right, you don't have to attract their attention. Now, I've been there long enough. My reputation is too big. There've been a few of them that have acted fool, and I've come out and let them know I ain't the one. I was a professional journalist. You want your little chain to grow with your little, you want your chain to grow? Do you need an enemy like this? Is it worth your time to make an enemy like me? Folks back right up. I ain't the one. Doesn't really matter where I go. Because I told you, I got bars. You troll over here, your butt disappear. There's a lot of other things you can do on the Hive blockchain. There's gaming, there's decentralized finance, there's passive income. I didn't show you my passive income. If I choose not to go on Hive tomorrow, I'm still going to make Hive. It's going to be coming in. No matter if I choose not to be bothered and post up anything for a week, if I take a vacation, I'm still going to have more Hive there tomorrow than I had today. So one of the things you do, make money to exist. I did a video on that. Make money to sleep. I'm doing that. It's not a big amount, but it's there and it's growing every day. And even though Hive and HBD go up and down, the crypto market has a cycle. So if it doesn't, it goes down, you just wait. It'll go back up again. You keep accumulating. You making any money on Facebook and YouTube to have to deal with it not recommending and banning? And no, you're not. You're not. Hive is actually not the only game in town either. In the next video, we're going to talk about when you get good enough at what you do, what you also want to do is do the grown thing and make people pay to have access, like really pay to have access to you. Hive is enough of a barrier to keep out 99.9% of the trolls that run free over regular social media. When you get to the point that you're really doing things, you can make that wall even higher. That's grown conversation. You have to actually know what you're doing and be producing content. Hive is one paywall option. There are many more. We'll talk about that tomorrow, though. That's grown Black History Makers series conversation. But I've given you enough for today. You want to be a responsible Black History Maker? You want to let people not have access to you? Today, get into the habit of keeping people that bother you for no good reason, remove them from your site, and then make sure you don't entertain them in your house. Do not get Mr. TB mothed and put out of your home, or at least your business office on social media. And after you've done that, and you want to consider getting into a platform that actually pays you to be there and cuts down on 99% of the trolling, anybody want to get interested in that, let me know, and we'll talk more about how you really get set up. And then tomorrow we'll talk about paywall options on the blockchain and off the blockchain that are also available to you. There's advanced Hive things that you can do. And then there's other things that are out there that are behind paywalls that are out here in Web 2.0 that are available. That some of you who are really good content producers that are looking at me, stop fighting with the foolishness and get behind a paywall. And make history from there. And then what you do is you use your Hive blockchain, you use your other social media to promote what you're doing and pull your followers out of the foolishness as well. But that's grown conversation. We'll have that tomorrow. Thank you for watching. More to come. Goodbye.